What's up, you guys? This is my cat. Apparently, she doesn't smile ever. She is differently sized. Go ahead, go on. What's up, you guys? Hey, Sarah, first live from Twitter. Oh, you came from Twitter? Thank you for coming. Yay. Hello. How's everyone doing? Good afternoon. Hey, a lot happened today. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Andy. Hi, Reality Not Fiction. Hi, MDNG. Thanks. Hey, complicated name. Holy cow, a lot happened today. I can't even keep up with everything. I don't know where to start at all. Hey, Al Fontana. I'm so excited you came here from Twitter. Very cool. So I attempted to have a drink to do sort of a happy hour situation, and I accidentally got a hard kombucha, which I've never had. I thought it was a beer, and it wasn't. It's a hard kombucha. It's hard to drink, but I'm forcing myself because I paid for it, and that's what I'm going to do. Thank you. Yeah, I've had this on all day. My sister, I actually have a sister. She is 4 years older than me, and she was super into death metal when I was growing up. I don't know if Iron Maiden is considered death metal, but she was really into death metal and just super heavy metal when I was growing up. I grew up in Atlanta, and I went to my first mosh pit when I was 14, which was pretty funny. I almost got hit in the head. I almost got elbowed in the head, actually, when I was 14 years old. Yeah. I'm reading a book right now called The Lords of Chaos, The Bloody Rise of Satanic Metal Underground. I just find that whole culture very interesting, and some of them take themselves very seriously, which is funny. Oh, you did? So Victor says he saw Iron Maiden in San Antonio. How were they? Okay, they're yeah. Iron Maiden is regular metal. Mosh pit. Well, yeah. My sister, who is 4 years older than me. Yeah, I'm the bratty little sister. My sister's 4 years older than me, and she used to drag me to these concerts when I was young because that was the only way that she was allowed to go. And she would try to, the big sister bullies the little sister. So she would go tell me to go near the stage to take pictures of the band, and laughing because I would end up in the mosh pit. I'm not traumatized. It's fine. Anyway, they were great. Oh, good. So Victor says Iron Maiden was great. Good. I like that. Yeah. So what's happening right now? First of all, if there's weird stuff happening on the internet, like there is so much censorship, so much. There was a Twitter purge yesterday, and then there was another one today. You just notice your followers and then people you follow just like disappearing in mass numbers. And then on YouTube, it's just really weird right now. I've heard from a lot of YouTubers that talk about similar things than I do. Timothy, you didn't miss anything. We were just talking metal, normal. People that have similar channels than mine are just having a really tough time on YouTube right now. They're not putting their videos in the algorithm. So not just me, but anyone else. If you like what you see, please comment, like, subscribe. The more you do that, the more it tells people that you are liking this content. It's just weird what's happening right now. And I do think it's going to change, but I think it might get a lot worse before it gets better. The amount of censorship. And speaking of that, has anyone been watching what's been going on? So we have a new press secretary. We have Biden just signing all kinds of crazy executive orders, which are basically just reversing everything that Donald Trump did. And if you look at what in the media at the same time, like CNN, MSNBC, like ABC, all these media places, the fluff pieces are just embarrassing. Talking about the Biden and his family and the administration, and it's just the most embarrassing fake fluff pieces I've ever seen. But you look at that, and the best part is look at the fluff pieces and then look online. like go to a few videos I saw earlier today, and then I went and investigated myself. If you go to White House, the YouTube page, the White House YouTube page, look at all of their videos for the Biden administration. The like to dislike ratio is like the dislikes are about 3 to 4 times as much as the like ratio. Their inauguration video, they actually had to disable the comments. And as someone that makes YouTube videos, there's one reason why you disable comments. There's only one reason you disable comments, because they're not very good. So they went in, on the inauguration video, they disabled the comments. On a few of the videos on the White House YouTube, they have disabled the comments. Yes, there's a cat hanging out around back there. Yeah. So Masta said 24K dislikes I saw earlier. Yeah, so the inauguration video, it had 6.1K likes, 24K dislikes, and that's basically every single video on the White House YouTube channel. And some of them have had to disable the comments because they're so bad. I'm just trying to look at some of the comments really quick. The Bidens, such a beautiful family. I agree, Andy. How do you feel about all the pardons? So Derek asked, how do I feel about all the pardons? Well, I was very disappointed, like a lot of people. I was really hoping Assange would get pardoned. He didn't. I was hoping Assange and Snowden, and I don't know, people had mixed feelings. A lot of people were saying they were hoping for Assange, they were hoping for Snowden, just because of this attack that we have right now on freedom of speech and all the censorship that was going on. They were thinking this would have been the perfect way for Trump to end his legacy, to pardon these people, and that would have just been such a great middle finger to everyone basically in Washington right now. But that didn't happen. So a lot of people are disappointed. A lot of people are calling him a coward. It's just not something that I looked a whole lot into. And sometimes I'm hesitant to speculate too much on things like that because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Apparently, Mitch McConnell was urging him not to pardon Assange, and hinting to the fact that if he did, they might be putting or having an investigation on Trump. And the thing about Trump's impeachment investigation, people are still speculating that Trump is going to run in 2024. I don't know if I think so. Steve Bannon, who Trump pardoned, said earlier today or earlier yesterday that he is thinking that Trump is going to run in 2024. So that could also put a fire under their butts as far as wanting to impeach him, because that will make him ineligible to run in 2024. So I don't know. It's just not something I looked a lot into. I see the reasoning behind pardoning Assange. I also see why maybe he didn't. Biden and is another Jimmy Carter. Nothing will happen for the better. Lame duck who won on the decency message. He won't run for 2024. Do you, Victor, do you mean, so did you hear what Victor said? Biden is another Jimmy Carter. Nothing will happen for the better. A lame duck. Okay. When you said he won't run in 2024, Victor, do you mean Donald Trump or Biden? I don't think Biden will. He would be 82 at that time. And he's already, I mean, look, he's already halfway gone right now. He can't form coherent sentences. What do you think of California news senator? Which one, Glenn? I'm not sure. Oh, but speaking of California, I actually got an update on the recall Newsom situation, and that right now, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? They still have until, I believe, March 17th to sign the petition to recall Newsom, but right now it has 1.2 million signed on the petition. They need 1.5, so I mean, that's pretty impressive. And that point two came about in just the past 2 months or a month and a half. So that's a lot. Victor, Republicans will find a great candidate to dominate in 2024, like a Reagan type, especially Harris running for the Dems. Oh, yeah. So do you guys think Harris is going to run in 2024? Glenn Allen, the one who replaced Kamala Harris. You know what? You got me. I need to look into that. That's why I'm so overwhelmed today, because there's so much going on. I don't even know where to put my attention. But the executive orders that Biden is signing, you're absolutely right. He's a lame duck. He is a puppet of a man. He's just sort of, I think they put a stack in front of him and he just started signing away. Shannon said, sorry, the Republican Party is effectively dead. It will take years to repair. You might be right. I think I'm personally waiting. I think things are going to ramp up as far as like canceling, as far as like the media trying to like slam down our throats that everything's fine, you guys. Everything's fine. Everyone won fair and square. Everything's just going good. Everybody loves our new president and our new administration. I think they're going to ramp up on that, but then we'll see. I mean, it might be dead. Who knows? A lot of people are really upset at Republicans. And I actually have Fox News, surprisingly, is doing really bad. For the first time, I read this on Axios, for the first time in 20 years, Fox News is doing worse than CNN and NBC. That hasn't happened in 20 years. Tucker Carlson alone used to dominate every primetime cable news show. He was behind Chris Hayes. Recently, people are ditching Fox News, and they started doing layoffs. They're laying off 16 staffers. The first one that they're laying off is Chris Steyerwalt. Let me know if I'm saying his name correctly. The first one they're laying off is Chris Steyerwalt. He's the one that called, so he was working on the decision desk, I guess. He's the one that called Arizona early, and I believe the one that refused to call Florida. And that is where the entire decline of Fox News started, with Arizona on election night. That was the entire start of the Fox News decline, and it has been going downhill since. And I think that's one reason why a lot of mainstream media is freaking out right now. Yeah, CNN and MSNBC are finally doing better than Fox News, but all of them, the approval rating for mainstream media, according to Axios, is lower than 50%. Edelman's annual trust barometer, less than half of all America trusts the mainstream media. 56% of Americans agree with this sentiment, that journalists and reporters are purposefully trying to mislead people by saying things like they know are false or gross exaggerations. So that's not good. There's a two-party system. Republicans will be back on top again. Just wait until the country gets tired of the Democrats' tactics. Yeah. And if I were to give a prediction about culture and where everything is going right now, I will say this. No matter who is in office, obviously I want them to succeed. I want them to do well, because if they do well, we all do well. But what is happening right now is social justice. And I saw Brian Redband earlier say, hey, show your pronouns. Yeah, that situation is going to be the decline, but I think it's also going to be the great awakening of everyone, because that's what's being pushed right now. It's all these really progressive policies. And look at California. We're the future of all this. Most people, they hear these things and it sounds good. You want to be a good person. You're like, yeah, equality and social justice. Of course I want to do that. But again, when you put these policies in action, the devil is in the details, and people are going to get tired of it. It's not sustainable, and social justice always ends up eating itself. Critical race theory, nothing good about this. Yeah, I made a video about critical race theory earlier today. One of the executive orders that Biden signed was reversing Trump's ban on critical race theory being, I don't want to say taught, I guess I could say taught, or critical race theory in federal government agencies, basically. And what's really annoying about this is the media will conflate critical race theory with diversity training, which we all know are two completely different things. Critical race theory, well, diversity training teaches you to treat everyone the same, to teach everyone equal, to judge by the content of your character, and all of those things. Critical race theory is the exact opposite. It teaches you to solely look at the color of your skin, and judge people like that. And it teaches you, if the color of your skin is this way, then you're an oppressor. If the color of your skin is that way, then you are the oppressed. So it's solely judging on the color of your skin, and which that in of itself goes completely against the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which tells you that you cannot discriminate people in the workplace or in a school atmosphere based on race or sexual orientation or gender or any of those things. And that's exactly what critical race theory does. But the good news is, if you watch that video, then I'm repeating myself, so I'm sorry. But the good news is there is a coalition of lawyers upon hearing the news that Biden reversed this executive order. There's a coalition of lawyers that have gotten together, and they are willing to represent people all around the U.S. And their main goal is to eventually get a case all the way to the Supreme Court and see what happens there. Uncritical race theory is a more explain. Stephen Alexander said uncritical racist theory is more of a scary pandemic. Describe that. I don't know exactly what you mean. I am mixed race and was in LE, and they hire women and any mom, white, sad, scary, and dangerous. Term limits for Congress. Yeah, I don't think anyone should be in Congress as long as Maxine Waters or Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell. And I was listening to some people talk earlier, and this is another thing that I see happening in the future. It's going to stop right now. What we might see is it's going to stop being Republican versus Democrat, and it's going to be establishment versus anti-establishment. And I saw things like this, like with last night we had Antifa rioting in Portland. We had Antifa rioting in Seattle. They busted up the OG Starbucks. They went to the Pike Fish Market. They busted up the the DNC in Portland. But I think but their whole thing is they're anti-government. They don't want presidents. They don't want prisons. They don't want systems. They don't want ICE. They want to abolish everything. And that's completely not what the right is all about. But I could almost see the extremists on both sides coming together because they're both anti all of this. I live in Portland. They never stopped rioting. I'm imagining, Timothy, you voted red in Portland, I'm imagining. Timothy, do you know anyone that voted blue in Portland? And that's what I was talking about in my video today. I'm like, you know what, you guys, like, I have a lot of sympathy for the people that are voting red in Portland, but if you're voting blue, you just voted for the party that totally denied what was happening all summer. That blows my mind. Oh, I had not heard about this coalition of lawyers, says Andy. That is kind of good news. Hopefully these principals will get called out for what they are. Yeah, the Daily Wire reported on this earlier today. So if you want to see this story, go to the Daily Wire, or I made a video on it earlier as well. Megan Kelly has been really outspoken about this also. She's promoting this coalition of lawyers. Hi, I'm from Georgia, Sarah. It's so honored to meet you. Oh, hello, Andre. I'm from Georgia. It's an honor to meet you. Hi, Richie. Okay, Timothy said they chased out all of the conservatives. The only people that are left are progressive socialists. I know, it blows my mind, Timothy. If you live in Portland and you're seeing all of this happen all summer, how you could vote for the people that just ignored what was going on. And this is what's funny about groups like Antifa, anti-fascist. They smash fash. That's what they do. But the problem isn't the fact that they smash fash. I think we all agree that fascism is bad, right? It's the definition of fascism that's the problem. Just like with what a lot of our elected officials are. So we had Joe Biden, who yesterday gave his beautiful inauguration speech. Which, by the way, speaking of Fox News's decline, Chris Wallace. Do you guys know who Chris Wallace on Fox? You guys know Chris Wallace on Fox News. He was the moderator, I believe, of the first presidential debate. He's just not, a lot of people that watch Fox News are not a fan of his, and he might. I'm surprised he's still on Fox News. Anywho, so Chris Wallace was like, talking about Biden's speech, his inauguration speech, was like, it was the most beautiful speech I've ever heard. It was just magnificent. Yeah, that's just going right into Fox News's decline. And the funny thing about that is, in Biden's speech, he talks about unity and all of those things, and then he goes into saying that people that voted for, correct me if I'm wrong, he goes into calling out white supremacists, saying we need to stamp this out, this and that, yet didn't mention anything about the Tifa, who's been smashing trash and innocent civilians in the streets for how many months now? It's been happening all summer. They are responsible for most of the violence that we saw. I would say, I mean, what would you say the percentages? Chris Wallace is a registered Democrat. What does he do? I mean, honestly, I'm okay with you really should have, I know Fox News does have a few Democrats, and I'm not against that. You should have an opposition of opinion on your show if you want to be fair. But it's just, yeah, classic Eddie. But he calls out white supremacism, but then he doesn't say anything about Antifa, who's been, smashing up stuff all summer, which was pretty ironic. Biden steals all his speeches, probably. I mean, I listened to some of it, and okay, it was fine. I didn't hear anything that crazy or that significant or that beautiful. And I think Donald Trump actually got more views. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Did Donald Trump get more views on his farewell speech? Let me know. And this is the thing the media is going to have to deal with, which is going to be really funny. They made their money making fun of Donald Trump for the past 4 years, and now they're kind of showing their true colors. What are they going to talk about? Yeah, Antifa uses the same tactics as the Nazi brown shirts. Fox hired Donna Brazil. I gave up on Fox a while back. The lights on the mall were like Biden's arms embracing America. Oh, I remember that. Okay, someone just said, you have all the letters in your name, so I can't pronounce it. Someone just said the lights on the mall were like Biden's arms hugging America. Can you guys feel the unity? So much unity, so much beauty, so much groundbreaking. I can sleep at night now, you guys. It's all over. Even though the media made up all these problems, and then we got mad about all these made up problems, and that's what caused the divide in this country. But that's exactly the embarrassing things that they're covering right now. And somebody on Twitter did a side-by-side, the coverage of Trump's inauguration and then the coverage of Biden's inauguration. The side-by-side was basically that. It was like Biden extends his arms and hugs the National Mall in a message of unity. And then it had Trump, and it was like Trump walks into the White House like Mussolini. Like, it was so dramatic. But the irony is, if you look at the two inaugurations, who had all the military? Who had no one there? Whose seats were replaced with flags? I mean, yeah. Okay, Glenn said, Sarah, what do you think about President Biden's executive order to allow transgendered males to compete in women's sports? Okay, yep, that was, did you guys hear that? So he's asking about the executive order that was passed earlier today to allow transgendered individuals to compete in women's sports. And this was sort of the topic online all day. There was a lot of discourse because of that. There was a lot of debate because of that online, if that's what you call it right now. How do I feel about that? Well, I don't think it's right. I think that I'm my whole thing is I don't care what you do. I could care less. That's really not interesting to me. What somebody's sexual orientation is, how they want to dress, who they want to go home with at night. It's just not interesting to me. Like, I would rather talk about ideas and how to change the world and how, I don't know, like hobbies and interests and things like that. Like, I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't infringe on my rights. And the eerie part of that entire executive order was the part where it said, no child, it said something along the lines of, no, because sorry, I'm going. Victor just asked, why didn't Trump overturn gay marriage? Because he's for gay marriage. Donald Trump is our first U.S. presidential candidate in history to be pro-gay marriage. Obama and Biden themselves are on record, on camera, saying not that long ago that they are against gay marriage. But President Trump has always stayed firm that he is for that. I mean, physically, men and women are different. That's why they play different sports. And we already had a few lawsuits within the past few years where female competitors on high school level sports were unable to advance because they were competing on the same team as transgender individuals, which I don't care what you do. I am for everyone dressing how they want, being called what they want, anything of that nature. But when it infringes on other people's rights, when your rights stop where mine begin. And that's what's a little worrisome are sort of these like young girls playing sports in high schools and things like that. So I don't like the whole sports thing. And I know there are a few people that have been really outspoken about that, and I'm a little uncomfortable with the locker room thing. You know, I'm all for women empowerment or whatever. I'm in no way I wouldn't call myself I'm a feminist in the sense where I believe in equal rights. Therefore, I don't use the term I'm a woman a whole lot. I want you to like me because of my ideas. I want you to like me because of my merit, what I bring to the table. So I don't like the whole idea. I think feminism has gone into sort of an identity politics type of area, and I think that's counterproductive. I don't like it. And again, like, I don't care about your pronouns. Like, I don't care about anything. Are you a good person? Are you a cool person? I just think it again, the thing about transgender in sports, it is making an entire executive order to appease a very small minority of people that kind of goes a little bit backwards on the rights of a large majority of people or womans that fought for their rights for years. So, but at the end of the day, what I think about all of this is that, you know what, sometimes people need to see how these super progressive policies play out. And by super progressive, I don't mean that I don't want to move forward. I don't mean that I don't want to have conversations on reform in every area. We should always have those conversations. But what we're seeing right now, it's super progressive, what, you know what I'm saying. But we're seeing that met with authoritarianism. So they're saying, if you don't agree with my super progressive policies, you are an evil, awful, sexist, racist, bigot, homophobe. Instead of, hey, can we have an adult conversation about the pros and cons? It's, no, we can't have that conversation. If you don't agree with everything that I'm saying, then you're wrong. You're the bigot. Shut up. Cancel. I don't like that. So I do, on face value, I don't agree with it, transgender in women's sports. The bathroom thing makes me uncomfortable for younger girls. It's not going to affect me. I don't play sports. I'm not in high school. If I don't want to go to the bathroom somewhere, I don't have to. It's not going to affect me. I worry about the younger girls who don't have as strong as a voice. And I do think that some women need to get up and stand up and speak up for their own rights. You know, they were marching on Washington a few years ago with their hats on, saying like, listen to us, me too. So I think women need to stand up on this a little bit. And I'm always open to conversation. The problem is we can't have a conversation right now. There are way more women than transgendered who want to take advantage. Anyone who plays a victim of anti-trans issues like that are fools. Victim of anti-trans. Yeah, I mean, it's about conversation. Can we have a conversation and talk about the pros or cons, or are you going to say, if you don't agree with me, you're shut down, you're a terrible person, I'm going to call you dehumanizing names? I don't like that. Hi, Sarah. Been following you for a while. I love your channel. I just can't listen to any more of the Biden's BS. Please tell me the military is in control. Jason, I don't know. I don't know. Well, Jason, what I can say, I completely understand. And I share the same fear as everyone else. Believe me, I'm not stupid to what's going on. I'm not ignorant to what's going on. I'm not trying to keep my head in the clouds. I completely understand what's going on, and I understand why people are angry and frustrated and freaked out, and I am too. But I think the people that are voting for this need to see the reality. And I think the reason why I was so easily red-pilled in the first place, I don't know if I ever told you guys, I used to work for the government. I studied for 2 years human services. I did a bunch of internships, and then I started working for the government. I worked for psychiatric hospitals. I interned at a psychiatric hospital for adults. I worked with NGRI clients that's not guilty by reason of insanity. So I worked with adult men who were clinically psychotic who committed murder. So I did an internship there, and then I worked for a psychiatric hospital, an acute care psychiatric hospital for children and adolescents. So we got kids in crisis, we stabilized them, and then we sent them back out. So I think my benefit was I was just pushed into this extreme world, and I was 20 when I started doing that. I did that from the time I was 20 to the time I was 27. I worked in these hospitals and these centers for adolescents who were either really troubled or had a lot of serious mental illness issues. And I think that's why I was so easily red-pilled. And I think that's why I'm so anti PC culture and all of that, is because I was pushed into that reality and I saw how these things play out in real life. And I think sometimes people just need to see how the things they want play out in order for them to learn. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know. Al Fontana, had no idea. That was how I did that. I was 20, I think 20 to 27. I started my internships when I was 20. I stopped when I was 27. Yeah, I mean, it taught me a lot. We dealt with illegal immigration. We dealt with social services, taking kids away from their parents. I mean, we just dealt with a lot of things like abuse, neglect, and you learn a lot of things when you're doing that. Sarah, John M. Sarah, why do Californians keep voting Democratic when the progressives in power have ruined the state for decades? Because I think it's really difficult for people to make that connection. They don't make a connection. There is a saying, it's like, it's easy to convince someone of something. It's much harder to unconvince them. So if somebody already has their beliefs, it's way harder to convince them otherwise. I think that's why. I think people just aren't making that connection, and that's a lot of fear that people in Texas have and people in Nashville have, or so I've heard. I don't live there. They're worried that all these people are going to be leaving these blue states, fleeing these progressive policies, but then they're going to move to these red states and vote the same way because they're not making the connection as to why things are bad. And again, that's the lore of the Democratic Party. It's yeah, social justice sounds awesome. Kumbaya. Let's all run through daisies and hold hands and sing Imagine while twirling around. That's how they want the world to be. Unfortunately, the world is not like that, and they do not want you to take that worldview from them. I just think that people, they're not making the connection. That's why. And they don't want to admit that their party is wrong. It's really hard to admit that your party is wrong. John M. said, wow, that's really brave of you. You remember they did a psych evaluation on Trump. Maybe they should have the same for Biden. Fair is fair, right? I think he refused to take one. Am I right? Let me know if you guys didn't. Didn't they offer Biden a psych evaluation and he refused to take it? Earlier today, I think he yelled at a reporter, I think, and left the room. Guys, this is hilarious. I mean, I'm scared, but it's hilarious. Is it true? Is it true Richie said, is it true plague people flee from those socialist places and take the politics with them? Yes, they do. They're infecting all of society. There is a worse pandemic going on. It's an epidemic, maybe not a pandemic, but it's definitely an epidemic. PC culture. And that's what's really funny about all my friends. They get really mad when I'm outspoken because they look at me and they're like, you're supposed to be one of us. And I'm not, and it drives my girlfriends crazy. Biden is not in charge. His puppet masters pull the strings. Biden got mad at the reporter for not getting his bowl of soup in time. I actually thought you were going to tell me what really was going on. Do you worry our foreign policy, like endless wars, will continue under Biden? Yeah. Victor, I'll answer you in just a second. Yeah, I read something briefly. Again, it's really hard. There's so much happening today. So many executive orders were signed, and then there's the new press secretary and this and that. But there was talk of maybe troops going back to somewhere in the Middle East, but don't mark my words on that. But there were talks of that. Yeah, I do worry about it. I worry about a lot of things, for sure. I need to see more information before I allow myself to get too worried, because I just briefly saw something today, but absolutely, why would that not be a worry? Someone asked, are you religious? You know what's interesting? Yes. It's funny because if you were to meet me, I'm into things like, I like metal. I have more Republican politics. I pray. I love God, but I also believe in being silly and not being PC. I think that's actually more godly. The longer I live in Hollywood, the more kind of religious it makes me, which is funny because I don't have the cleanest mouth. I'm so anti being politically correct, and I'm so anti like walking on eggshells to appease everybody's feelings. But I am spiritual and I am religious in my own right. And I always tell people that. I'm like, that's why I'm against like idolatry and things. Am I saying that right? Idolatry and things of that nature. I always tell people the only person I have allegiance to is God or spirit or Buddha or the universe or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm very spiritual and I do consider myself religious. Do I go to church all the time? Nope. But I love the word of God. I think it has meaning. I think it has principle. And I meditate every day. I have incense and all of that stuff. And I have several Bibles that I read. Yeah, but the longer I live in Hollywood, sometimes the more it makes me religious because there's so many crazies here. It sort of makes you want to go back to your roots. Okay, somebody said, did you see where somebody told the potato to salute the Marines in his ear? So he said, salute the Marines. Okay, sorry, I can't read your name out loud. But yes, so there was a video of Biden today. There is a video of Biden today where he's walking with his wife, and then it almost sounds like he's listening to something in the ear, and he's like, he repeats to himself, salute the Marines. Like he's reminding himself what to do, which is just, guys, this is a show. I mean, I know it's scary, but also how freaking funny. And how funny is it going to be to watch the mainstream media completely melt down because they're going to have to backtrack everything they've said for the past few years. Because the truth of the matter is the riots are still happening. Like police shootings aren't going to stop happening. All these terrible things that they blame Trump on for the past 4 years that they got away with, they're not going to be able to blame on him anymore. And it's going to be so funny. Sniff strangers is okay, but get vaccines first. Yeah. Can you socially distance and sniff strangers at the same time? I don't know. You should ask Joe Biden. It's one of the reasons I didn't vote for him. I don't particularly like a sniffer. How can you socially distance? Joe will be like, I can't read that. I'm sorry. Brian. Pinocchio can social Yes, Pinocchio can because he lies so much. Oh my gosh, Red Band, you're on to something. Of course he can sniff slangers because they lie so much. His nose is obviously going to grow, which is obviously going to allow him to be socially distanced while also sniffing. It's quite genius if you really think about it. Honestly, I believe that the Democrats set up wars to assert the United States as the policing nation. I mean, it looks like it. It's so funny. Like, it's so funny. Man, I love being on this side. It's so freaking funny. Everything they accuse Trump of, they're doing right now. And I love how Nancy Pelosi all summer, when Trump merely just sent the National Guard to Portland to literally just be on the defense, to literally just defend the courthouse in Oregon that had been attacked for like 30 days in a row. All they were doing was being inside the federal court building. They were only coming out when they were getting attacked. And Nancy Pelosi was calling them stormtroopers. I did a video recently where I put up the tweet where she called them stormtroopers. And then to see the image in front of her, in front of like hundreds of National Guard in front of DC, how funny was that? Ugh. Timothy said you did vote for Biden. You just don't realize your vote was switched by Dominion. I actually did check on my vote here in California, and it went through. I will say that. I had really nice people at my polling place. Red Band said, my vote was switched, but I voted by mail, and USPS is never wrong. Oh my gosh. I got someone else's ballot in the mail. I had to send it back. Who knows where that went? But I did. Within like a few weeks before the election, I got someone else's ballot in the mail. I don't know if you're talking to me, Victor. Yes, I'm from Georgia. I grew up in Atlanta. And then I lived in Virginia for a few years. Virginia is where I worked in the psychiatric hospitals. And those, by the way, are super creepy. I lived in rural Virginia, and I worked in a psych hospital in rural Virginia that was really, 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 really old and had a lot of vacant buildings and underground tunnels. It's not there anymore. They took it down, but it was really creepy. I liked it. The lost city of Atlanta. I know, I was surprised to see, well, honestly, I wasn't surprised given like how the election went. Georgia is typically a red state, turned blue. I was surprised by the senators, but not too surprised by the senators. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. Oh, okay. So what do you think about, hold on one second. Okay, so Katie Couric was on Bill Maher. I used to really like Bill Maher, but I feel like he is so brainwashed by his TDS. Katie Couric said, she was on Bill Maher, of people that voted for Trump are believing the garbage that they are getting 24/7 by online constituents that bought into this big lie. And the question is, are we going to like almost deprogram these people like the cult of Trump? I just, that cracks me up because people think it's a cult of Trump. It really has nothing to do with Trump. It has everything to do with anti-establishment. He just happened to be the one that sort of broke in and was like, hey, what's going on over here, what's going on over here, what's going on over here, and it caused people to question, and that is what apparently they are afraid of, I guess. I don't know. Blessed out the ukulele. Okay, give me a second, I will. Let's ask if Sarah can whistle. I sure can't. I cannot whistle. I've never in my life been able to whistle ever. I taught myself how to lift one eyebrow. I was very proud of that, but I cannot whistle. I saw something about Rush. Rush Limbaugh said he was called out for brainwashing Trump voters. I know. And Rush Limbaugh, I don't know if you guys know this, but Rush Limbaugh, I don't know if he still was, but he's the king of talk radio. Apparently for, is it iHeartRadio or iHeartMedia that he works for? But apparently whichever one he works for, he's the top earner. What's happening right now is they're freaking out. I played the clip on my on one of my YouTube videos the other day in which they had a CNN panel. And what did they say in the CNN panel? They were like, these YouTubers are getting more views, getting more daytime views than we are on CNN. So we need to shut these people down. They're dangerous. CNN, it's your fault. It's your freaking fault. You keep lying, people are going to stop watching you. It's your fault. Like I said in my video, it's like the girl that keeps dating the guy, which I know I've been several times. It's the girl that keeps dating the guy or keeps dating guys that treat her like crap. And then she just blames it on men. She's like, I hate all men. Men are bad and blah. That's what CNN is doing. CNN, exactly what I said on my video. You need to love yourself, CNN, before anyone else loves you. You need a moment of self-reflection to reflect on yourself and your choices, okay? You put the mask on yourself before you save anyone else, and that's what they're failing to do. Instead of being like, wow, maybe we kind of suck. Maybe it's our fault we're repelling viewers and they're going online to listen to alternative media. Instead of saying that, they just want to cancel everyone. That's healthy. Girls have cuties. Some of them do. Some girls totally have cuties. CNN is the king of fake news. They're one of them. MSNBC is fighting for that position as well. Ew, Andy said CNN is positioning themselves to be the national news network. No! Scary times. Heck yeah, they are. Operation Mockingbird is why. Yeah, a lot of people were... did anyone actually watch the inauguration? A lot of people were talking about Lady Gaga's outfit, how it resembled Katniss on the Hunger Games with the Mockingjay. It was a little, I don't know, what did you guys think about that performance? I used to be a fan of hers, what I said in one of my videos, maybe not so much anymore, just whatever. But well, how did you feel about the outfit? The whole thing was weird, you guys. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. And I'm not saying this because I'm bitter. It was just weird. It was weird. Yeah, CNN equals viewer repellent for sure. Jennifer Ray, her outfit was very CCP appropriate. I know. It just, maybe somewhere else that would have been cool, but just with all of it together, it was just uncomfortable. Hello, Sarah. Haven't been able to catch a live event. Love your stuff. Okay, thank you, Luke Fish. I know who you are. I've seen your comments on some of my videos. For Newsom. Yeah, for Newsom. Hopefully he goes somewhere. Oh, and then Marjorie Taylor, who is the freshman congresswoman from Georgia, filed her articles of impeachment against Biden today, which isn't really going to go anywhere, but I appreciate the Spitfire energy she has. It's at least new energy, and it's at least fresh energy, so there we go. Rush was on today, said Glenn. Yeah, I listened to a little bit of his show earlier today. He was on yesterday, too. I've really been liking him a lot recently. I've been liking him. I've been liking Glenn Beck. Oh, and question for you guys. Does anybody follow Steven Crowder? And if so, where has he been? Did I miss something? Did he announce that he was going to be gone for a while, or is he not posting? He hasn't posted a video on YouTube in over a month or a month. You can never recall Newsom. The county registrators refused to forward the signatures to the Secretary of State. I don't know. That could be true. And honestly, sometimes it's just to prove a point. Sometimes it's just to rattle a few feathers. Have I ever been to the White House? No, but I want to. Red Band asked, have I ever been to the White House? No, that's my goal. Total domination. Total world takeover. Legally Blonde style. Sarah, they want you smashing the UK on ending the what? Anomaly, news, analysis, and hip-hop. I love Anomaly. Charles Patterson, Anomaly. I met him in person here in Los Angeles, I think like a little bit before he moved. Yeah, I met Anomaly in person. He's really cool. He's really awesome. We had a fun conversation. I actually met Anomaly right before I started making videos. I was talking to him about it. He's a really nice guy. He moved out of Los Angeles. I don't know where he lives now. A special K. I'll be one of your warriors, Sarah. Thank you. Crowder's wife has a medical issues and he took a break. Oh no, I'm really sad to hear that, but thank you. That's really sad. I hope she's okay. That makes sense. I didn't know what happened. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go soon. Do we want a little ukulele or bongos? I'm learning. Hold on. I'll play you what I'm learning on my bongos. It doesn't sound good right now. I'm learning a new beat, but it's a little bit better. It's a process, okay? It's a process. Hold on. That was almost really embarrassing because my leg is asleep. Okay, so this is a calypso beat, and it's weird. Like, learning to play these things is like this. So it kind of takes some time. Give me a second. That was not a 10. Okay, I know it sounds really terrible, but I'm learning, okay? Okay. I'll pick up something I can play better. Do you guys remember The Offspring? Okay, so I'll play you The Offspring, Self-Esteem. Do you know that song? Can you read music? No. But you know what? My dad played the guitar. He was a genius on the guitar, but he never read music either. Yep. I wrote her off for the first time today. My singing sucks. Told her all the things I would say. She came over, I lost my nerve. Took her back and then I made her dessert. I know I'm being used. That's okay because I like the abuse. I know she's playing with me. That's okay cause I got no self-esteem. Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. Thank you. That was my terrible singing voice. Thank you for watching. Get a real guitar. Sounds so much better. I can't stand the ukulele. It's obnoxious, but awesome live stream. Check you next time. I'm out. Thank you. Very sweet. Biden should have had, thank you. I think I should have sang that song for Biden. No, the ukulele's fun. It's actually a lot easier to learn than the guitar. I want to go ukulele, banjo, and then back to the guitar. I tried learning the guitar a long time ago, and I gave it up because it was just too hard. But the ukulele has 4 strings, which is a little bit easier. The guitar has 3, or no, the ukulele has 4, banjo has 5, guitar has 6. So that's what it is. But thank you so much, you guys. Better than Demi Lovato. One of my best friends is a professional guitar player here in Georgia, Richie says. My dad wants to learn mandolin. That's a really cool instrument as well, the mandolin. I saw that. All right, well, I think I'm going to call it a night. If you have any quick questions, thank you guys. I am always willing to make an ass out of myself for people. I don't think I have that embarrassment gene anymore. That went away a long time ago. But thank you so much, you guys, for watching. If you have any questions, just put it up really quick, and I'll try to answer it before I go. I'll watch for just a second, but thank you again. Have a good evening. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Marcia. Charles, thank you. All right, I will see you guys later. Andy, thank you. I will be happy. And be safe. You too, Andy. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Good night. How do I end this thing? Okay, bye, you guys.